Have you ever been speaking when you suddenly notice someone's attention vanish? Their eyes lose focus, they glance at their phone or the window anywhere but you. They might still nod out of politeness, but the connection is gone. In that moment, something shifts. And you're left wondering, what did I do wrong? Before we go deeper, let me share something that completely changed how others respond to me. It's a simple approach I stumbled upon, one that turned me from someone often ignored into someone people lean in to hear. Even in rooms filled with more experienced voices, a Harvard communication study revealed that people make split-second decisions within the first 7 seconds about whether or not to truly listen, and surprisingly, it's not the content that matters most. The breaking point had happened during a dinner at my coworker Mark's place. There were 8 of us around the table, enjoying small plates and wine. I began telling a story about a client that had really impacted me. Halfway through, Alicia suddenly said, "Wait, did anyone see the new Netflix series?" And just like that, the table's attention shifted. No one circled back. My story simply vanished. Lying in bed that night, wide awake, I asked myself something uncomfortable. What if the issue wasn't with them? What if the real problem was how I was communicating, not who I was, but how I showed up in conversation? That's when I uncovered what I now call the invisible pull, a communication method that completely changed how I connect with others. I'll walk you through it. Step by step, the invisible wall. For 3 months, I studied every social exchange like an experiment. I observed what made people lean forward and what made them mentally check out. Some stories would hold attention like a magnet. Others, people politely escaped. What I realized was that I wasn't dull or uninteresting. Like most people, I've been using communication habits that actually push others away. We're taught how to use proper grammar and expand vocabulary, but not how to speak in ways that spark emotion or build rapport. We learn to deliver information, not create moments that matter. These 3 unspoken communication rules change everything for me, and they can do the same for you. Rule 1: the deadliest conversation killer isn't silence, it's correction. Silence isn't what ruins a conversation. Correction is actually what you'll find is those words cut sharper than you think. I used to say them often, trying to be helpful or accurate, but in reality, I was shutting people down without realizing it. Most communication advice focuses on how to look confident, stand up straight, speak with authority, project your voice. But this advice misses the mark because it centers on how you appear, not how you make others feel. People won't remember your exact words, but they'll remember the emotion you left them with. And when you correct someone publicly, their brain reacts almost the same way it does to physical pain. Neuroscience backs this up. Here's an example. A friend once said, "Isn't it wild that Saturn has 70 moons?" "Oh me?" I'd instantly replied, "Technically, NASA updated that to 83 last year." Factually correct. Socially tone deaf. Then I noticed Rachel, a colleague whose rare comments always carried weight. When someone got a stat wrong in a meeting, she'd respond like this: "That's a good point. I've been looking at slightly different numbers, closer to a 17 rise instead of 10. But overall, we're seeing positive movement. No one felt embarrassed. Everyone stayed engaged. That moment taught me something big. It's better to foster connection than to chase correctness. Rule 2: vulnerability isn't weakness, it's gravity. For a long time, I treated every interaction like a performance. I rehearsed talking points, ironed out my delivery, avoided anything that felt too uncertain. I thought this made me seem confident, but instead, it made me forgettable. This initiative improved engagement by 40 while reducing operational cost. Bored already? Me too. Perfection doesn't captivate at distances. Then came Miguel, a new hire. His stories weren't flashy, but people loved hearing him speak. Why? Because he showed his real self. He'd say things like, "This might sound odd, but I'm honestly still figuring this out." Those moments didn't weaken his credibility, they invited people in. During a high-stakes presentation, I noticed the Foso glance at his watch. Instead of panicking, I paused and said, "I want to be honest. I rewrote this deck 12 times last night because I was nervous about presenting to this group. But more than anything, I want us to solve this issue together, not just stare at slides." Everything changed. I had their full attention, not because I spoke flawlessly, but because I spoke honestly. Rule 3: your emotional frequency speaks louder than your words. Only a tiny percentage of what we communicate comes from the actual words. The rest, it's your tone, posture, and the emotional current behind your words. Consider this line: I'm really interested in hearing your thoughts. Now picture it delivered with clenched shoulders and darting eyes versus calm posture, warm eye contact, and genuine tone. Same sentence, completely different impact. Your body always reveals your true state. Right now, check your shoulders. Are they hunched up? Most people tense without even noticing. That tension speaks louder than your words ever will. Elaine, a senior leader at my company, was never loud or flashy, yet her meetings were the ones people actually looked forward to. Her secret, her emotions aligned with her words. She was authentic, grounded, and emotionally present. Most of us unintentionally send mixed messages. We say, I'm open to feedback, but our body screams discomfort. That mismatch confuses people and creates distance. What worked for me? Practicing emotional alignment. Rather than hiding nerves, I acknowledged them. And ironically, by being more honest, I became more trusted. The ultimate test 6 months after the rough dinner party. I was sitting across from an interviewer for a job I badly wanted. I knew I could play it safe with a prep answer or try something real. They asked, what's the toughest challenge you faced professionally? Instead of giving the polished version, I said, can I speak candidly? The hardest moment wasn't a project, it was learning to trust myself again after I made a mistake that cost my last company a key client. For months, I second-guessed everything. But over time, I learned that a failure doesn't define me. Taking risks does. The interviewer paused, then set down her pen. We spent nearly an hour in an open human conversation. Later, I was told that while there were 17 other applicants with similar resumes, I was the only one they remembered. The invisible pull technique revealed now. Here's the communication method I promised you: the invisible pull. It fuses all 3 insights into one magnetic approach to pattern break. Say something that interrupts the usual rhythm and grabs curiosity. Before I dive in, can I share something I've never talked about regarding this project? The authentic bridge: show why the message matters to you before you try to make it matter to them. This resonates with me because I used to be the person struggling with this exact issue. The open space and key points with openness that invites collaboration. I don't have all the answers yet, but I'd love to hear your perspective. Use these together, and you won't just get heard, you'll be remembered. The real reason people listen: I've taught this method to over 300 people, leaders, introverts, anxious speakers, and the transformation is real. One client used it in a pitch and was approached by 3 executives. Another used it on a first date that turned into hours of deep conversation. The beauty of this approach isn't that it makes you sound more impressive, it's that it makes you feel more real. And in a world saturated with performance, realness is rare. Being listened to isn't about dominating a room, it's about creating resonance. It's not about flawless delivery, it's about genuine connection. Your challenge in the next 24 hours: use one part of the invisible pull technique. Then take a moment to reflect: what changed? What makes someone truly captivating? Isn't perfect phrasing or dramatic flair. It's the courage to speak as they are, not as they think they should be. That courage is already inside you. It doesn't require mastery, just honesty and the trust that your unpolished human voice is exactly what people have been waiting to hear.